In this session, we're going to look at successes that a few companies have had, and these are companies that you may know about, that you may have heard of, and these successes that these companies have had can be traced back to things that they've done from an operations management perspective in their operations. So the first company that you're looking at here is called Progressive Insurance. This is a US-based insurance company that is very well known for their claims turnaround time. And claims turnaround simply means when you, for example, get into an auto accident and you file a claim with the insurance company, and then the insurance company sends you the check for your repairs to your automobile, and that closes the claims process. So they're very well known for that. It turns out that for the company, that faster claims turnaround time also helps with better fraud detection. It also lowers their costs of claims processing. From a customer perspective, getting the claims done faster is very beneficial, but it also turns out that historically, when there is a faster claims turnaround time, that average claim sizes are also much lower. Now, what's the operations management role in this faster claims turnaround? So what Progressive Insurance did was they completely turned around the idea of the people who have to come in to inspect the damage that has been done for them to pay the claim. Traditionally, what used to happen is, let's say you got into a fender bender with your car, you would call the insurance company, and the insurance company would say, well, get the car appraised, get the car inspected, and then we'll start the claims process. What Progressive did was turn this process completely around, and they said, well, we'll send the adjusters to you. We'll send the people to estimate the damage to you, and what that has done is that has reduced the time that it takes for people to file their claim. So that's completely turned around from the point of view of the customer, completely turned around from the point of view of this traditional process. Now, Progressive has done a number of other things that are remotely related to operations. So, for example, they give you the rates of competitors. When you go online to buy insurance, they give you the rates of competitors. And they're the first company who started doing that. And that helps with customers making their decisions quicker, whether they want to buy from insurance or from whether they want to buy from Progressive or from elsewhere. They also have the idea nowadays of tracking your use of your vehicle in order to give you better rates based on how your driving habits are. Another company that is quite well known, especially in the US, is Southwest Airlines. Now, Southwest Airlines has been around for about 45 years, and out of which they've had 42 years of continuous positive profits. They've been profitable for the past 42 years. How does Southwest do that? Well, first of all, they are able to give very low prices to customers. Their costs are very low. Utilization of their aircraft, utilization of their main equipment, which is the aircraft, is very high. Their labor productivity compared to other airlines in the industry is also very high. So if you look at the number of labor hours per passenger mile that is flown on any airline, Southwest is better than any other airline. They have a very quick turnaround of airplanes. Now, if you think about it, how do airlines make money? By having their planes flying people around, not when they're sitting on the tarmac. So having a faster plane turnaround helps them become more profitable. Now, what is it about Southwest's operations that's different that helps them achieve these things? So let's take a look at that. Well, first of all, when they decided to get into this idea of a budget airline, they started with point-to-point routes. They moved away from the hub and spoke model of most traditional large airlines, and they started to focus on point-to-point routes. Their logic was that they're not really competing with the airline industry. They're actually competing with the people who want to travel by road, and they want those customers to be moving into their airplanes. They stuck to smaller airports to keep their costs down, and they used one type of aircraft. Now, if you think about it, what does using one type of aircraft get you? Well, for one thing, you don't have to worry about, or they don't have to worry about, the types of gates that are needed for each of their aircraft. It's the same type of aircraft, so it's a very standard gate. They don't have to worry whether it's a 747 or a different aircraft, and whether it needs a different gate for that aircraft. The second thing that they get from using one type of aircraft is that their scheduling of their crews and their pilots is much simpler. Everyone is trained for that one type of aircraft. Everyone they hire is trained for that one type of aircraft, so it gives them a lot of flexibility. The third thing that it gives them is, if you think about maintenance of their aircraft, they have to hold only one type of inventory because they have only one type of aircraft. So it gives them a lot of advantages, which allows them to run a very low-cost operation. They also have cross-trained staff. What does that mean? Well, the people who are helping you with the check-in process are also the same people who might come in and help with the seating in the aircraft. They are the people who might help with the cleaning with the aircraft. So what you have then, again, is trying to get the plane off of the ground as quickly as possible through the use of this cross-trained staff. Now, Southwest secret is that they have a lot of employee incentive programs in order to keep their staff incentivized to do all these things. So that's the other perspective that they use toward getting their operations to be much more efficient and much more effective. Let's look at Timbuk2, a different kind of a business, a much smaller business. This is a business of making messenger bags. If you know what messenger bags are, they are a very simple type of a bag that people can just put on their shoulder, and it's usually used by messengers who go on bicycles in large cities like New York and San Francisco. So this is a San Francisco-based company, started in 1989, and what are they well known for? They're well known for the quality of their bags, very durable bags, and they're also known for very quick delivery of customized bags. So you are able to get your design on your own. You have certain parameters within which you can design the bag by going online, and you can order it, and it's delivered to you relatively quickly and at not much of a price premium compared to the standard bags. Now, what is it about their operations that helps them achieve this? And what they do is they use a combination of a make-to-stock and a make-to-order production. What does make-to-stock mean? Well, make-to-stock means that you make product to keep it in inventory based on a forecast of demand that you might receive. Now, that helps with reduce costs in terms of the production, but then it helps. It also increases the cost of keeping inventory. Make to order means you make it based on when you receive the order from the customer. Now, that helps with keeping inventory costs low, but it can take a long time if you're starting right from scratch to make the bag for the customer. So what they've done is they've combined these two types of processes, the make to stock and the make to order, in giving you a short turnaround time. Their manufacturing facilities are very open. In the sense that they have cross-trained workers, and people are able to go from one process to the other and get things done to get product moving out the door very quickly. This gives them better capacity utilization and helps them achieve that quicker lead time for customized orders. What they've also done is they've combined their retail store sales with their customized product sales in the same manufacturing facility. So when they do have times when there's not too much demand from the customized, they make the standard product, and then they make the customized product whenever it's needed. What that does is reduces their total costs in terms of the customized product, so they're able to give product to customers which is customized and still at a lower price than you would expect. Another company that you probably heard of is Walmart. Now, Walmart has about $32 billion, and that's $32 billion in inventory at any point in time. So it's a very large company, a very large retailer of all kinds of goods, and it's known for its lower prices. It's able to give lower prices to customers because its costs are very low. It keeps very little inventory. It keeps its inventory moving, and if you think about their operations, if you look at their operations, you can see how they're able to do that. A technique that they used, that they kind of pioneered, is this idea of cross-docking. Now, what is cross-docking? Traditionally, you have the trucks that are coming, the trailers that are coming from different manufacturers. They go to a warehouse. The warehouse takes all of the product from different manufacturers, stores it there, and then puts them in different combinations for different stores, retail stores, and then sends it to the retail stores. Cross-docking involves not having a warehouse at all. In fact, having docks on two sides of a straight line where you have the incoming trucks and the outgoing trucks. The result is that product doesn't sit in the warehouse. It comes from the different manufacturer. It has to be timed correctly, but it comes from the different manufacturers and then gets into the different trucks that are going to the different stores in the mix that each of those stores needed. Now, this does take some planning, some information technology that needs to be used in order to figure out the right mixes coming there at the right time, but they're able to do this in an efficient way and cut down their inventories in a big way. Walmart has developed supply chain relationships with all their large suppliers. They have what is called vendor managed inventory, or VMI. What that means is that a supplier, a large supplier such as Procter & Gamble, is actually managing the inventory in the warehouses. What Procter & Gamble gets in exchange in this relationship is that they get information about the day-to-day sales at each of the Walmart stores, and they're able to use that for their planning of their production. Walmart also shares a lot of information and believes in collaborating on forecasts so that the manufacturer and the retailer are on the same page when they're thinking about product that's going to be sold in their stores. So that's the way that they're able to achieve this low cost that Walmart is relatively well known for. Now let's take a different type of product, and it's a fashion product, a high fashion product, and this is a company called Zara that originated in Spain and now has stores in many different countries. Now, Zara is well known for keeping up with changing fashions. They have this process by which they can take a concept and convert it into clothes in the stores in 4 to 5 weeks, sometimes even in 2 weeks, sometimes in as little as 2 weeks. What they do is they try to have reasonable pricing. They are able to achieve this because they have fast-moving items, which is very important in the fashion industry, and they don't have to discount their goods. Their rate of discounting for their garments is much lower than the industry. What do they do that is different in their operations in order to achieve these kinds of advantages? Well, they have this thing called quick response production. So when they get a design, and these designs come from these scouts that they have going around in different high fashion locations and getting the designs, ideas from there and sending them back to production, and they're able to take those designs and convert them into product and distribute it very quickly. Now, they're able to do this because they have what is called a much more vertically integrated production system. They don't outsource too much of their production. So it's all very close by. They're able to take the design, convert it into finished garments, and send it off very quickly. They do a very strategic timing of their product releases, and they don't produce a lot of the garments for the season. So compared to industry, they only produce about 50 to 60% of the garments for the season in advance. So they are able to time it in such a way that they can get stuff to the stores when it's needed and in the kind of designs that are needed out there. So these are examples of companies that have done well and have done well based on what they have done with their operations. And hopefully you were able to see how operations help them achieve a competitive advantage. So what you would have noticed, hopefully, in all these decisions that these companies have taken is that their operations management decisions, their operations management success was tied with several other decisions that are made in the business that you're talking about, that you're focusing on. So, for example, what are business strategy decisions about? They're about, well, what type of market do we want to be in? What kind of customer do we want to cater to? Marketing, similarly, is saying what kind of product mix should we have? How should we segment the market? Which is the niche we're going after? You think about economics and the idea of break-even values. Should we be making these things on our own, or should we be outsourcing these items? There's your economics perspective coming in. All of these decisions that companies make obviously are made from a net present value perspective, thinking about, is this going to be profitable for our company in the long run? From a human resource management perspective, you saw the example of Southwest, you saw the example of Timbuktu. All of them have this idea of cross-training, getting their people trained in different things, having them motivated to do whatever it takes for the process to run efficiently, for the operations to run efficiently. Managerial accounting helps with being able to calculate the variable costs of different things and see how the efficiencies are for the operations. And of course, information systems. You saw in the case of Walmart especially, they use what are barcodes, what we see as barcodes and RFID code tags that are put on different products, which are basically transmitting information to the supplier of products to Walmart so that they can use that information real time to manage their inventories. Now, I'm going to turn this over to you and have you think about a company that you hopefully have heard of, Dell Computers, and I want you to think about two things about Dell Computers. One is, like we did for all of these other companies, what is it that Dell is well known for? What are they able to offer customers that is different? And I put this in the past tense in the question because Dell has been transforming itself in the recent years. So when Dell was at its peak, what was it known for? What were they trying to achieve? And then I want you to think about, as a second part, what do you think? What can you infer about their operations? What would they have been doing? Now, I know you don't have the information in front of you, but you can infer in terms of what they were doing in order to get the advantage that they were going after, which it will be very clear based on your thinking of who their customers are. So take a minute and think about these questions. All right. So what is Dell known for? Dell is known for giving customized product to customers at relatively low prices and giving it to them very quickly. They let customers order online, or they used to let them do it only online, and were able to customize the product and send it to the customers very quickly. How did they achieve this? What was different about their operations? Well, what Dell did was they had something called just-in-time manufacturing, lean manufacturing is what they were using. What they had was they did not have too much inventory being stored in their assembly plants. They had their suppliers co-located and who were able to send them the inventory that was ordered up to in about 15 minutes of their placing the order. And I said 15 minutes, not 15 hours or 15 days. So it is 15 minutes of their placing the order. They would have the supplier able to initiate the sending of the material to them. Now, Dell was able to do this because it has co-located suppliers. It had co-located suppliers. On the other hand, in terms of distribution, what did it use? It partnered with a distribution company in the US. It was UPS at that time, who was very good at delivering product to customer. So they were using that to deliver product to the customer, which made it very quick for the finished product to reach the customer. What they also did was they thought about the design of the product and had it very modular, so that when they did get orders, that were for customized product, that they could snap these things together. If you think about Lego pieces that fit into each other very easily, that's the kind of thinking that went into what they were producing, what they were making on the assembly line. So in summary, if you think about what operations is doing in terms of the resources and processes, it's basically focusing on the idea of making money for businesses. And how does that happen? So you have resources, you have people, technology, and the different equipment that is being used, where they're placing their facilities. Those are the things that are being used. You have the processes, you have manufacturing processes, you have service processes, and then you have the transactional processes of the payments coming in, the orders going out, those types of things. And these lead to a unique customer value proposition for customers. They're trying to satisfy customer needs and trying to do it better than competitors if they're trying to get the sales from their competitors. What does that lead to? Finally, it leads to the bottom line in terms of higher sales volumes, higher margins, and being able to turn over their asset base quickly in terms of sales.